What was the biggest hint you missed from someone who was attracted to you? In 8th grade, 2 girls told me they thought I was cute and that they wanted to kiss me together. I thought it was a trick, so I hit them with a stick and ran away. Was at a New Year's party and at 11:56 was talking to a girl who said, "Man, I wish I could kiss someone at midnight on New Year's." I was like, "Me too. Sounds like it'd be fun." We were quite literally the only singles at the party and were sitting directly next to each other when midnight struck. She looked over at me and I just kind of smiled and went back to drinking my Sprite. The worst part is I saw her again the following New Year's. Joked about missing the hint and she said, "Haha, yeah, you were kind of oblivious," and then the exact same thing happened a second time. During a party, a friend of mine decided to stay over rather than go home with her friends. I told her she could crash in the spare room. Then this conversation happened. Her, "I'm going to bed now." Me, "Are you going into my room?" Her, "I know." Smiles and walks into my room. Me, hug. "Hey look. Beer." Proceed to get blackout drunk. No 60 times for me. TL. DR. I am not a smart man. I had the biggest crush on one of my friends. And at midnight on New Year's, he grabbed my face to kiss me. Being ducked up, and in denial that he would ever do that, I turned and kissed him on the cheek. My friend once wore a banana suit to a party. He was approached by a very attractive girl. They got to talking and she said, "I've always wanted to duck a guy in a banana suit." His response, "Well, if you find a guy, I'll let him borrow this one." Edit. To all of you saying he was knowingly rejecting her, I realize that's exactly what it sounds like. But he was really just that stupid. He literally had no idea she wanted to have sex with him. It wasn't until the next day that he realized. I can deep throat and have no gag reflex. That's weird. Did you have bad tonsillitis as a kid or something? Edit. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. I'm sure you're busy picking up on all the hints idiots like myself miss. In college, a girl invited me to see her apartment. I walked and said it was nice. Walked out and went home. Was having a party at my house. 17 at the time. Getting late. Party is coming to an end. Go to my bed to crash. Find cute blonde girl laying on my bed. Think to myself, well crap. Can't sleep there. Someone already there. Go somewhere else to crash. Wake up the next morning. Complain to the girl that she was in my bed. She says, "Well, you could have joined me, yak now." Still didn't take the hint. Proceed to make dumb jokes about liking to fart in bed. She gives up on me and dates friend. Edit. I was a socially awkward fella. Still am, in fact, 19 years later. When I got to the bed that night, she didn't look like she was awake and I was tired. The next day though, when she said what she said on front of a bunch of people who were all like, wink wink, nod nod, someone's gonna hook up, I think I panicked and tried to play it off. Why yay, but I'm really bad to sleep next to. I move around a lot. Then I switched to an Italian accent cause I was a weird kid who liked to talk in different accents. I like to fart and I like to burp and I need my space, yada yada, total full of myself. Made the situation a lot more awkward than it had to be. After a few days she was with homie. I'm full of these because I'm totally clueless. My most recent one, however, was at the start of my freshman year of college. I was in the school bookstore buying a book I neglected to order online and making small talk with the counter attendant. I'm in the Midwest. It's expected here. We exchange the usual pleasantries, and I asked her how her day was. Her answer, "Oh, not too bad. I get off for lunch pretty soon." Over the course of the remaining 5 minutes I'm waiting on my book, my dad was buying the book and had some credit card difficulties. She mentions the word lunch about 7 times. I take no notice, get my book, and leave. As I'm walking out to the car, my dad turns to me and says, "Jesus Christ, kid. If she said the word lunch one more time I was gonna ask her myself." Until my mistake was pointed out to me. I had just thought she was hungry. Edit. For all you guys asking, my dad's ducking hilarious and very relaxed. I actually wouldn't have a problem asking people out in front of him. Girl in high school and I were walking together, and she stroked my hand then held out her hand. I proceeded to high five it, and nothing happened between us after that. My dad and his brother and sister own a huge house in the beach so we can all go anytime we want. All the parents were gone to dinner and it was only me, my cousin and her hot friend. I had a room to myself and was watching YouTube on my laptop when they both came in and said they were bored and joined me in the bed to watch YouTube. This being the beach, I used boxers to sleep and an overshirt, so I didn't get out of bed. Just said, yeah sure, come on in. After like 10 minutes my cousin says she is sleepy and leaves me and her hot friend. We probably stayed watching video for like an hour, and I could feel her looking at me over and over again. She also said she was bored and suggested we do something else. I just ignored her until she got fed up and left. After like 10 minutes she comes knocking on my door asking me if I had any more toilet paper because they ran out. She was now sporting tight short shorts and a tank top. Got up, gave her the paper and went back to bed. I woke up at 3 in the morning to realize what I had done. I did end up hooking up with her afterwards, but I feel like an idiot every time I think back at that. Edit. Holy it. Highest rated comment is the story of one of the times I missed a hint. In 10th grade, a girl I was a friend with invited me out to the mall to Victoria's Secret to get her favorite cherry flavored lip gloss. She put it on and invited me to get in close and see if it did. After a loud QA sniff of her mouth, I assured her it did. 10 years later in nursing school, I received a retroactive diagnosis of neutron star density. Edit. Should point out she wanted me to see if the lip gloss tasted like cherries. At least we know it smelled correct. She kept talking about how firm her breasts were. Told me to touch them to prove it. I poked them once. Oh, I remembered another one. When I was in high school, I had just gotten my license and a friend of a friend asked me if I could drive her home after school because she didn't have a car yet. So I drive her home. Upon arriving at her place, this takes place. Wanna come in for a bit? My parents aren't home and I know how to get into my dad's liquor cabinet. She had a huge grin on her face. Me, oh no thanks. I still have to drive home. She looked at me like, are you ducking serious? Let out a loud huff and got out of the car. A longtime friend that had previously said we'd never hook up turned to me one night after going to the bar, hands on my hips. She moved in to kiss me, and I, remembering that we were never going to hook up, I thought it would be hilarious to stick my tongue up her nose. She called me an asshole. We're still pals, though. We were at the movies and she put her head on my chest and a blanket over the both of us. The movie was so damn interesting I hardly noticed. I hope this makes it to everyone. I'm not terribly familiar with how Reddit's comment section works. The movie was Men in Black 3. Edit number 2. We were at a drive-in movie theater. The whole thing took place in the back seats of my truck. She talked to me, according to my family who mocked me afterward. That was a dead giveaway. That I probably could have lost my virginity a lot sooner if I would have just gone back to her place to watch a movie like she offered. Edit. Thought I'd add that she had picked me up from my house and drove us 25 minutes away to the neighborhood she lived in. We were hanging out in her Duckine neighborhood when she suggested a movie. Instead, I made her drive me all the way back to my house. Disappointed. Don't think I've missed anything. Pretty sure no one is attracted to me. She had 7 valence electrons and I have 1, but we never really bonded. I went on a date with her and still didn't realize. I got a text from a girl at work that I liked one evening saying she was at a bar near to me with a friend and did I want to join them. I went for a couple drinks and she invited me along to an art exhibition the next day with her friend and her friend's boyfriend. The next day, her friend and the boyfriend mysteriously couldn't make it and we spent the day together wandering around this exhibition. Got coffee and generally hung out. I mentioned it in passing to my housemate about a month later. She facepalmed, then had to explain to me in simple words that I was an idiot and she'd invited me to the bar the night before to get her friend's opinion on me and there was never any intention of her friend coming the next day. I'd not followed anything up after our date and by then she started seeing someone else. I was 26 at the time. The shame. Went out on a first date. Things were moving along well. When I went to drop her off, she asked me to come up to her apartment for coffee. I said, I can't drink coffee, keeps me up. Girl, I'm really attracted to you. Me, K. I was out with my buddy 17 years ago. We had hit a few bars. I drank 4 beers in 3 hours, played some darts, and decided to make one last stop. We'd go to our favorite hole in the wall. Nasty little place that holds maybe 30 people. This girl I had a thing for was there. I asked her out a few weeks before. She declined and I moved on. She comes up to us, being very forward and telling jokes and this and that. Seeing as we are talking about fishing, I kinda let it go in one ear and out the other. She walks away and leaves. A couple of minutes later my buddy hasn't said a word. I ask what's wrong. He says, "Wood spitter, you have to be the dumbest sob to ever walk the planet." I start to get a little huffy. He grabs me by the shoulder and screams, "She just showed you her panties and asked if you like pink thongs. She was asking you to go back to her place." I had no clue. I wasn't paying attention. Let this be a lesson to you. Pay attention when someone speaks to you. She asked me for a back massage. I happily obliged. She was wearing a tank top, and she let the straps fall off her shoulders. I forgive myself because I was only 15, but damn. She ordered extra sausage. Raunchy music plays faintly. She went to my senior year capstone presentation. She always invited me to go lunch or dinner with her. She wanted to hang out and have movie dates. 6 months after the senior capstone of mine, she sat me down and explained her feelings towards me. I finally got it. 2 years later, still together and living together. Edit. A capstone is a presentation of everything that I supposedly learned in my 4 years of school. We had put together a book and published it as a class. Me. See you tomorrow. Huh? I can't wait that long. Me. Well, you're gonna have to. Slams door. Back in my college years, a woman cuddled up to me in the backseat of a car because she liked the cigarette smell on my jacket. He told me and I asked him what TV show movie he was quoting. So, I had a guy friend who would send random quotes from The Office since we were both fans. One day he texted me, "I like you. Like more than a friend." So I wrote back, "What's that from?" I even googled it and I don't see anything. He wrote back, "I don't know. It sounds like it could be a quote from the show." He later told me he was trying to tell me he liked me, but my response threw him off. Edit. Thanks to everyone for the through correction. Oops. She. Why are you still single? Me. I don't know. I don't go out that much and meet new people, I guess. She. Maybe we should go out sometime. Me. 2 weeks later. Ah crap. I think the phrase "I never make the first move. I always wait for the guys" ducking evil. Out at a bar with a girl for her birthday. She kept talking about how she just wanted to make out with a guy on her birthday. Only other person around was her pretty hot girlfriend too. They ended up making out some that night. I did not. Sigh. "Do you have a girlfriend?" she asked. "No." Why? I replied. "Why do you think?" she asked. "Because you're doing a survey," I said. I was dropping her off and in her driveway she said she wanted to suck my D, but I laughed it off thinking she was joking. And then she got out and we didn't really talk much after that. She told one of my good friends Michael that she wanted to hook up with Emmy and he never told Emmy because he was a petty itch. But on the real, I was pissed at him for a while. It was not till we were in the car together a week after graduation and I was texting with her that he mentioned, "Oh yeah, by the way, Kate wanted to hook up with you." Duck you, Michael. Duck you. Cute girl I met at camp helped me fold my clothes. I just thought she was being nice. Mutual friend later confirmed that yes, she really liked me. Edit. Romantically. Edit 2. It's not like we were doing laundry together. She literally just walked by, saw that I was folding clothes and offered to help. Beautiful girl I worked with at a summer camp asked me if I wanted to go hot tubbing with her after work and told me her parents were gone. I told her I had to watch the baseball all-star game. I messed up. Well, once she showed me her vibrator. She held my hand and pressed it up against the back of my hand. And then another time, she laid down on the floor and showed me how she wanted to be ducked. I haven't a clue. I bloody missed it. The biggest hint, you say? This girl I was seriously into for a year and who I'd previously made out with came over to my dorm room on move out day to help me pack. She spent the entire 2 hours sitting on my bed watching me pack and flirting very openly with me. My dad was bringing his truck out to help me move my stuff home, and I was keeping an eye on the time to make sure I was ready to go when he showed up. I finally got all my stuff packed, and since my college had no AC, I was sweating bullets. I told her that I was going to take a shower and she could hang out in my room if she wanted. She said, "Oh, do I get to watch you undress?" Being a bit self-conscious of my decidedly less than stellar physique, I said no and asked why. She said, "Fred the Moose, you don't get it, do you? I want to give you a blowjob." Totally caught me off guard, so I just laughed awkwardly and walked out of the room to the showers. By the time I got back to the room, my dad had arrived and she helped us move my stuff out. Then I shook her hand and said bye. Apparently she asked me, "Would you go out with me?" Not sure how attracted she was though. She dated 6 boys in the following 6 days. She kept giving me compliments every day about my hair, my cloth. She would even ask me if I was working out and would touch my biceps. I never made a move, and she was hot. It's weird though, but I think my brain enjoys the fact that girls are attracted to me and that suffices. Literally, I never make a move first. I don't even know how I've managed to have 15 sexual encounters in my life by far. When my wife tells me about it, we'll be out and a lady will be talking to us and according to my wife totally flirting with me. Later on she'll be jokingly be like that itch and I'm totally clueless. Now that I'm married, I guess my radar is off for that sort of thing. She always has to clue me in. Perhaps she sucked my D by accident? A girl from work who I had hung out with a few times called me up to hang out at her place one night. She was a little drunk, and as soon as I got there her friends said goodnight and left. She turned on a movie and she sat down next to me on the couch while we watched it. About halfway through, "I'm getting tired. I think I'm gonna go to bed." Looks me right in the eye. Me, "Okay, good night." I got about halfway home before I realized that I am in fact a moron. We had hung out for a few weeks and seemed to get along great. I was into her and it seemed she was into me, but years of being friend-zoned and rejected made me extra cautious. I still can't believe I refused to let my guard down this one time, because looking back on it, it was so obvious. We were hanging out at the local Steak and Shake, flicking straw wrappers at each other. These straws still had leftover milkshake on them, so eventually I got some peanut butter cup milkshake on her pie hole. I just had to create an account because this thread was just ducking made for me. She said look at my boobs and then showed me her boobs. Never thought twice about it. TLDR, unknowingly friend-zoned myself. Bloody mixtapes dart back in the heyday of radio and when CDs just came out. I was a sophomore in high school, and a girl I had a big crush on made me a mixtape. Loads of slow jams, and she even decorated the jacket and did all of these cutesy things. I will admit I'm a bit of a late bloomer, and figured that's what friends did, as at the time, a lot of us would make each other mixtapes. She never really brought it up after she gave it to me, and even though we did hang out from time to time, she seemed to never show interest. Fast forward to first year in college. Friend finds the mixtape in car under some other old crap. Looks at it and asks, "XGF make this?" I says nope. A friend begin hilarious laughing and punching of my arm, as he states, "This girl totally had a crush on you. Did you even read the jacket?" I said, "Of course I did. She wrote all of the song titles and decorated it cutesy like." "No stupid. The inside of the jacket?" "What inside jacket?" And there, clear as day, she wrote that she loved me and how happy she is to have met me and that she can't wait to see what I think do after I listen to the music. Bloody hell. I was sitting alone with her at 3 AM at a bonfire. Everybody else already left. She said something along the lines of, "Last time I started seeing a guy, he made his move by just grabbing me and kissing me. He just went for it. Then she stayed for another half hour or so and then awkwardly hugged me and paused for a second. Then she said, okay, well I'm gonna go I guess. And then she left. Really missed that one. She even told me later that she was waiting for it. Good thing I didn't go. I met a better girl for me. My time to shine. Met a girl through a mutual friend's band's concert. Yup. That's right. Hit it off all night. She lived 1.5 hours away. We texted constantly. She randomly says all her roommates are away and she's lonely. So I offer to visit that day. She's shocked but agrees. I show up. She's still in happy shock. We go see a movie. Have a late night drink snack at a restaurant. Then head back to her place for the night. Okay, here we go. 1. She asks if I want a shower. I say no. Because I don't want to use up her or her roommate's supplies. Girls can be sensitive about that. 2. I instinctively go to bed down on the couch. I want to try for a relationship with this girl and don't want to be a creep. 3. We change for bed and she comes out to wish me goodnight. She's in a button-down shirt, cotton shorts, and nothing else. She leans over to say goodnight. Blatantly shows off her breasts, 2 buttons buttoned. Covers them with her hand like it was an accident, and grins sheepishly. I grin back and say goodnight. She heads to her room. We sleep. The next day, she shows me around town, but with much less enthusiasm than the previous evening. We still get along well. Lunch and goodbyes. I try to continue the texting spree, but she doesn't seem interested. I try to have her visit me, but never happens. We end up blocking each other's numbers. I'm a moron. Edit. PS. She was a petite, blonde, ballerina dancer, as in had held multiple year-long contracts with pro dance companies. 97% sure it would have been the greatest night of my life.